Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Taking a quick look here at BNB. This is a coin that we got some requests for regarding our community, or from our community rather, basically because I sent out a trade signal for this coin. So I'll explain what's going on there and hopefully get to some of these other requests as well. So thanks again so much for the awesome feedback from everyone. Take a look at this here. Not trade. We took that coin trade roughly 24 hours ago, 61%, all targets achieved. That's awesome stuff. And then yesterday too, we also saw VeChain, Polkadot, Filecoin, MNT, ICP, Near, and Cardano. Okay, so it's been a really good week here for us. Awesome stuff there. Been really profitable. So congrats again to our community. Thank you so much for the awesome feedback. Let's take a look here at the backend data and kind of see what's going on. We're going to look at liquidation levels first. And the best thing to do here is just kind of identify if there's any incentive in either direction for the price to move, right? Because it's inevitable for people to continue to short, and it's also inevitable for them to get swept and destroyed to the upside. Now, again, when I took the trade here, I did take a look here at liquidation, and there's a lot between 615 and 625. Coincidentally, our take profit target on BNB is just above that level. And mainly, if we look at this liquidation, we can recognize there's a lot of potential for the price to continue higher. Now, keep in mind, liquidation does not always push the price action higher. That actually reaffirms and reiterates a lot of resistance at that level. Okay, so you got to recognize that's how that works. But you got to also understand, too, that resistance levels are commonly swept partially because of liquidation, but also because there's good momentum. And what do you know, folks? The market right now has tremendous amount of momentum, and most everything is bullish right now. Okay, so you're not going to be blindly bullish, and again, you got to keep in mind a lot of moon boys are going to be right at this point too, because they told you so for months, right? Well, I've been telling you so for maybe a couple of weeks, because we've broken bullish recently. We haven't been bullish for a long time. Granted, the macro is tentatively bullish still in its descending trend. If you look at Bitcoin, you can kind of see here that we're still honoring our descending broadening wedge or bull flag, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's good stuff. But when it comes to BNB, this coin's looking pretty stellar in a lot of ways, and I'll explain more so here in a minute. Let's take a quick look though at macro liquidation and just recognize there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's quite a lot of liquidation here in the upper range of about 625. So between now and 625, I think there's a distinct probability. Even 630, we have a lot of liquidation there. So the overall sentiment here is that the price is probably more likely to increase. Keep in mind we have a pretty significant fair value gap back from June. Keep in mind that's a little old, and there's a good chance that profits have already been kind of secured and adjusted. So keep in mind larger macro fair value gaps don't have quite as much potency as smaller time frame ones, but that's still relevant. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the moving averages. All 4 moving averages below the price action. We can also see here as well that we've got 70 on the RSI soon to be retested. We break through that, we're going to continue to run. Now, a lot of this hinges on Bitcoin doing fairly well at this point and not like just pulling back dramatically. We need Bitcoin to maintain 65 to 66K for this to happen. But that in conjunction with CZ getting out of jail this weekend, I think there's a reason why we might see a slight pump here from BNB. Okay, some fundamentals potentially, but more likely the macro here looks very strong. So if you look here too, we're also honoring our ascending trend line, and we're just going to go ahead and pull that out here so we can kind of pay closer attention to that. Okay. So again, looking pretty good in the overall sentiment here. Again, that's the daily. 4-hour time frame might tell us a slightly different story. Let's go ahead and see. We're above all moving averages here, which is fantastic. We're over 50, but under 70 on the RSI. This is generally construed as a bullish sign. You'll see this on most coins right now. It's nothing abnormal. What this basically implies is we could see some range-bound activity between like 580, 590, upwards of 620, 630 for BNB. I say that because there is definitely potential for the price to pull back. So don't just blindly be stuck in a long and be like, I'm going to the moon with this coin, right? It's probably not going to happen that substantial, but I think a breakout would make sense considering that these indicators are letting us know we still have plenty of room left for growth. We can also see here we have a nice convergence here that occurred roughly 12 hours ago. Again, that's a complementing factor, not the only reason to take a trade. Please understand that. Most folks see that MACD convergence in the 4-hour, get really excited. I like it too. It's always been a favorite of mine, but if the trend is not bullish, or just say we're stuck in range-bound activity, it can give you some false positives. We don't want to worry about that guy. Either way, I think the important thing here is being above every single moving average on both the 4-hour and the daily. That's extremely important. The hourly is also giving us confirming factors here too with each Ichimoku cloud. Basically, lag and spans free and clear conversion lines over the baseline, and the cloud itself is averaging itself out, this local fib here, at about 598 to 605. So that's a good little range here for us. So me personally, if we were to see the price action pull back at all, I think that there's a possibility, worst case scenario, we retest this local low at about 580 to 585. But more probable here, or likely, is to see the price action work itself here into a little channel. Okay, so if you can kind of see here, that is generally construed as a bullish type of pennant or a triangle. When you retest the top here a few times, and inevitably breaks out. Okay, so we're more likely to see the price continue further up here based on that sentiment as well. Keep in mind, this is the first time we're retesting this level since we got rejected. So there's a distinct probability we'll see a double top here and the price pulls back here soon. That's a possibility. So don't just blindly just jump in right now. If you're going to be a little bit more patient, 590, just say 600 is a round number, as low as 585 would be a solid consideration for entry. It's our local point of control. We got a lot of support there. I think there's a decent chance we'll see a pivot or a bounce off that level if that were to happen. So this is my anticipation here for what could occur moving forward. Okay, so I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, so you're familiar with that. Keep in mind I provide those consistently, just giving you perspective on what I think the coins may or may not do, and just generally giving you as much information as possible. It's all relevant and there for you. If you do want to become part of our Trading Academy community or Signals group, link down below, of course, for that. You can join us with our trade signals. Been a pretty good, profitable little situation there for us. And at this point here, we're in pretty good shape. Again, you can kind of see our BNB trade there. We're in at 610 for our long. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. I described that correctly. Thank you again so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Take care.